so the Seagulls picked the cherries today. Brighton edged Bournemouth 2-1 in a thrilling contest at the Amex, holding on under heavy pressure to claim a third consecutive Premier League victory. The game started brightly for the hosts, who took the lead in the 12th minute when João Pedro calmly slotted a penalty into the bottom left corner after being fouled by Kepa. Brighton dominated the first half, with Mitoma hitting the post and Rutter and Minter both going close, but they couldn't extend their advantage before the break. Bournemouth, however, grew into the game and found a stunning equaliser in the 61st minute, as Justin Kluivert unleashed a magnificent long-range strike that looped over Verbruggen and crashed into the top corner. The Cherries kept pushing, with Ouattara, Tavernier, and Hill all coming close, but Brighton struck the decisive blow in the 75th minute when Jorginho Rutter slipped in substitute Danny Welbeck, who side-footed a precise finish beyond Kepa, the ball rolling in off the far post to restore the Seagulls' lead. Kluivert nearly found another moment of magic in stoppage time with a looping 30-yard effort that just cleared the crossbar, but Brighton held firm to secure the win. With this result, Fabian Herzela's side moved level on points with Bournemouth and climbed to 8th, while Andoni Iraola's team missed the chance to break into the top 4 and suffer back-to-back defeats for only the third time this season. The gripping battle on the south coast ends in Brighton's favour, as they continue their resurgence. So Palace comfortably beat Villa today. Palace were just simply better. It's a birthday delight for Ismail Assar as he bags a brace and inspires Crystal Palace to a huge win and 3 points against Aston Villa. The game started slowly but suddenly came to life after 20 minutes when Ramsey had the ball in the net, only to be denied by the offside flag. Palace hit back in the 29th minute when Sarr opened the scoring. Before half-time, Villa had another goal disallowed, this time by VAR. Watkins set up Rodgers to finish well inside the box, but Watkins was judged to be marginally offside in the build-up, and Palace held onto their lead. Villa came out fighting in the second half and equalised through Rodgers after 7 minutes. Watkins knocked on a long ball, and Rodgers tucked a left-footed shot past Henderson to make it 1-1. However, Palace responded immediately, with Mateta restoring their lead in the 60th minute. Es cushioned a brilliant touch into Mateta's path, and the Frenchman smashed his left-footed finish past Olsen. Palace weren't done yet. 12 minutes later, Sarr got his second of the game, marking his best goal-scoring season in the Premier League. Munoz delivered a pinpoint cross, and Sarr finished brilliantly with a placed volley into the far corner. Nketiah was brought on with 0 Premier League goals to his name, and in the 91st minute, he finally got off the mark. Mitchell squirmed away from Bailey and fired a cross along the goal mouth, where Nketiah was waiting to tap home, capping off an emphatic 4-1 win for Palace. So, Fulham edged Wolves today. A superb start in either half was enough to see Marco Silva's side claim a 2-1 victory at Molineux. Ryan Sessegnon got Fulham off to a flying start, latching onto a clever pass from Andreas Pereira before calmly slotting past Jose Saul. Wolves responded well and found their equaliser before the 20-minute mark, as João Gomes rifled a thunderous effort past Bernd Leno following a dangerous cross from Ait-Nouri. Fulham started the second half just as they had the first, regaining the lead early on. Adama Traoré split the Wolves' defence with a precise through ball, sending Rodrigo Muniz through on goal. The Brazilian stayed composed and lifted a delightful chip over Saw to make it 2-1. Wolves pushed for an equaliser but struggled to create clear-cut chances, finishing the match with just 1.22 expected goals compared to Fulham's 1.84. Doyle produced a superb block to deny Pereira a third goal for the visitors, while Saw made a brilliant late save to stop Jimenez from scoring against his former club. The defeat is another setback for Wolves, who now face a tough trip to Bournemouth in the FA Cup. Meanwhile, Fulham will take confidence into the next fixture at Old Trafford against Manchester United in the same competition. So Chelsea completed the double over the Saints today. Chelsea secured an emphatic 4-0 victory over Southampton in the Premier League, delivering a dominant performance that will leave their fans delighted. The Blues took control early, with Christopher Nkunku heading home from a corner to open the scoring. Pedro Neto, arguably the best player on the pitch, doubled Chelsea's lead after a sharp assist from Nkunku, firing a powerful shot in at the near post. Before the break, Chelsea made it 3-0 as Levi Colwill rose highest to nod home a pinpoint delivery from Neto. In the second half, Chelsea maintained the dominance, eventually finding a fourth goal when Tariq George picked out Marc Cucurella, who finished clinically from the penalty spot. Cole Palmer had his moments but seemed to have left his shooting boots at home, missing a couple of clear-cut chances. Despite that, Chelsea's attacking fluidity was on full display, with 2.32 expected goals highlighting their control of the game. The win sees Chelsea climb back into fourth place as they shift focus to their upcoming Conference League trip to Copenhagen. Meanwhile, Southampton, who managed just 0.62 expected goals today, will need a much improved performance when they visit Liverpool next. So, Everton stole a point today. Brentford and Everton played out a 1-1 draw at the GTEC Community Stadium, with Jake O'Brien's late header rescuing a point for the Toffees after Jon Wissa had put the hosts ahead in the first half. Everton might feel they should have been leading at half-time, with Beto twice going one-on-one with Mark Flecken, only to be denied both times. Instead, Brentford capitalised, with Wissa reacting first to Mbumo's effort off the crossbar to nod in the opener just before the break. Everton pushed for an equaliser in the second half, with Alcaraz coming closest before an unlikely hero stepped up. O'Brien, making his 100th Premier League appearance, timed his run perfectly to meet Mykolenko's cross and head in his first ever Premier League goal. Beto had another golden chance late on but again failed to beat Flecken, nearly costing his team when Janelt came close to stealing all 3 points for Brentford in stoppage time. The draw moves Everton 15 points clear of the relegation zone, solidifying their mid-table status, while Brentford remain in 11th, 4 points away from the top 10. So, 10-Man United beat Ipswich today. After 3 straight home defeats, Manchester United finally got a much-needed win in what turned out to be a chaotic 3-2 victory over Ipswich Town at Old Trafford. The game started horribly for the hosts, with Onana and Dorgu completely miscommunicating, allowing Philogene to tap into an empty net just 4 minutes in. United, however, responded well, with Bruno Fernandes leading the charge. His dangerous free kick in the 22nd minute forced Morsi into heading the ball into his own net, and 4 minutes later, his corner led to a scrappy goal from De Ligt. Things got worse for United just before half-time when Dorgu was sent off for a reckless challenge, and Ipswich immediately capitalised on the man advantage. Philogene got his second in first-half stoppage time after Onana let another weak effort slip past him, making it 2-2 at the break. With a man down and the goalkeeper having a nightmare, United looked like they were in serious trouble. But the second half started perfectly for Amorim's side. Bruno, once again, was the difference maker, delivering a pinpoint corner that Maguire met with a bullet header to restore United's lead. From there, the 10-man Red Devils dug in and saw out the game relatively comfortably, securing a crucial 3 points that now puts them level with Spurs. As for Ipswich, it's now 8 league games without a win, and with the gap to safety widening, their return to the Championship is starting to look inevitable. So, Forest and Arsenal ended in a stalemate today. A frustrating evening for Arsenal saw them struggle to break down a resolute Nottingham Forest side, with the game finishing 0-0 at the City ground. The result leaves the Gunners 13 points behind league leaders Liverpool, all but ending their already fading title hopes. Meanwhile, for Forest, it's another crucial point that strengthens their bid for Champions League football. The first half was a tense affair, with neither side creating much. Calafiori was involved in 2 big moments, first appearing to clip Hudson-Odoi in the box, though no penalty was given, and later curling a shot against the post. Arsenal had more of the ball but lacked penetration, failing to register a shot on target before the break. In the second half, Arsenal's best chances came from set pieces, with Marino forcing a fine save from Sells in the 51st minute and Tierney glancing a header just wide 4 minutes later. Forest had their moments too, with Wood testing Raya, but the hosts finished with an XG of just 0.37, reflecting their limited attacking threat. Murillo was the standout performer, leading a disciplined defensive effort that kept Arsenal from exceeding their 0.97 xG. The Gunners now face an uphill battle in the title race, while Forest continue to prove they belong in the top 4 conversation. So, City edged Spurs today. A tense and hard-fought battle in North London saw Manchester City claim a 1-0 victory over Tottenham, with Erling Haaland's early goal proving to be the difference. The win moves City back into the top 4, as they continue their push for a strong finish to the season. Spurs, on the other hand, will feel they deserved at least a point after a much improved second half. City started the game brightly, and it didn't take long for them to break the deadlock. In the 12th minute, Doku showed great skill on the left before finding Haaland, who tapped in from close range. The visitors dominated the rest of the first half, creating several big chances, with Savinho and Haaland both forcing excellent saves from Vicario. However, their inability to convert left Spurs with hope heading into the break. The second half was a different story, as Spurs piled on the pressure. Odobert, Telephone, and Son all had good opportunities, but City's defense held firm. The biggest moment of the game came in stoppage time when Haaland appeared to have sealed the win with a second goal, only for VAR to rule it out for handball after a lengthy check. Despite the late drama, City held on for the 3 points. They registered an XG of 2.09 compared to Spurs' 1.11, reflecting their superior chances. This result keeps City's season alive, while Tottenham will be left frustrated after a strong second half showing. West Ham beat Leicester today. A comfortable 2-0 victory for the Hammers saw them leapfrog Everton in the table, while Leicester's struggles continued with yet another defeat. First half goals from Tomáš Souček and a deflected effort credited as a Jannik Vestergaard own goal put the hosts in control before they saw out the game with little trouble in the second half. With a 2-0 lead, West Ham sat back in the second half, happy to absorb pressure. Leicester dominated possession but lacked penetration, registering just 0.08 xG in the first half and struggling to create meaningful chances after the break. Their miserable away record continued, as they remain the only team in the league yet to keep a clean sheet on the road. For West Ham, it's back-to-back wins under Graham Potter, following their impressive 1-0 victory over Arsenal last weekend. While they still sit 15th, relegation fears are fading. Leicester, on the other hand, remain in deep trouble, stuck in 19th place and running out of time to turn things around. These were my Premier League Game Week 27 predictions and these are the actual results. As you can see, I only got the West Ham result right. This was my predicted table and this is the actual table. Check out my YouTube for more content.